Hey, beautiful friends. This is Sarah Blumenfeld, host of Networking Done Different. And today I'm joined by Brad Bricker of CMIT Solutions. And we are going to talk about cybersecurity. Isn't that great? Something everybody needs, not only every person, but every business needs to be really aware of more and more every day. So welcome, Brad.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
You're welcome. So tell us first, what does CMIT stand for?
So it currently stands for Completely Managed IT. Originally, It was Computer Moms, that started by a lady that did training for women in IT. So
Oh, wow.
it's 24 years ago, 20 something, 23, 24 years ago.
She
25.
started it 24 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
So our
amazing.
oldest franchise is 22 years old, I believe. So.
Oh, that's great. Well, you mentioned that it's a franchise, and tell us the importance of it being a franchise business.
So for me, it gives me a pool of resources. There's 250 franchises across the country, 1,000 technicians that I can reach out to through our team's channels and say, hey, has anybody seen this product? Or, anybody works with, say, accountants and seen some particular accountant package that you wouldn't see running every day through
Right.
that field, but somebody in the system has likely seen it and has experienced and can help each other out.
Yeah.
Besides the geographical reach that, I help. One of the franchises in Cleveland, Ohio has a customer with a branch office in my area. So whenever it
Nice.
needs feet on the street, then I'll go by and help them out.
Oh, wow. That really is a benefit, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a really robust system. I looked at your website and there's so much great information there. There's blog posts, webinars about various cybersecurity issues that people can just hop on there and get some information straight away.
Yeah. There's a lot of good information there. The marketing guys, they do pretty good with pulling down information, doing research, and finding various solutions and articles that are, I think, interesting. I'm sure a lot of people that I get a little more geek out than
so. Yeah. Well, that's good for those of us who don't geek. we need that in our lives for sure. So, do you work primarily with individuals or with businesses? What size businesses?
Just businesses. Our target business size is 5 to 100 computers. Okay. So really small, mid-sized business. Typically, our clients fall in the category of, I really can't afford to hire my own IT guy because they're expensive. Mm-hmm. And that's where you can use our services because it's more of a shared services. We've got help desk, a security operations center, network operations center that helps monitor and manage all of our customers and clients and the security needs. So that's very helpful for us.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk a little bit about, let's see what I got here. So cybersecurity protection. Talk about what that is and how it affects businesses.
That gets deep. How much time do we have?
Exactly.
So basically, cybersecurity, it's the internet. Anybody connected to the internet should be worried about some cybersecurity. It's a managed or organized crime out there. It's not some geek guy in a basement trying to hack your computer. It's organized crime. They do research.
Yeah.
They make a concerted effort to break into particular organizations. Mm-hmm. Small businesses are somewhat more susceptible because they don't see themselves as a target. They are smaller. They have smaller budgets. So it's not like the federal government who spends $1 gazillion on cybersecurity protections.
Right.
You let them do that, and then that develops a technology that hopefully could be cheaper that you can implement at your place.
Yeah.
So
well, I heard you speak at the business development meeting for the Clear Lake Chamber of Commerce, and you were sharing how like ransomware attacks can happen to even small businesses. And I was frankly shocked by that. I thought, why in the heck would they even care about a little tiny business? Surely they have bigger fish to fry.
I'm sure they would. They enjoy the big fish when they can catch them, and when the pipeline got hacked a couple years ago, that was millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, they hack a small company, they know how much you get. They typically, when they pull a ransomware attack, they've been on your network for 6 months. So they're trying to look at your books, looking to see if you've got cyber insurance and know what that policy's worth. And so they go for that amount to try to, can't get blood from a turnip. So they try to get as much as they can from the organization that they know they can afford. Not that the business necessarily survives afterwards, because it's a huge impact to have that kind of loss, and the downtime from it, of the impact of having your computers locked up and trying to recover, how many days you're out of business trying to do that recovery.
Right. I kind of threw the ransomware phrase out there, but maybe we should define what that is.
So sure, hopefully everybody's heard from ransomware now, but basically, and I saw my first ransomware attack like 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And they encrypt the files on your computer and your servers as much as they can. They come and they try to get in and destroy your backups. So make it impossible for you just to go, all right, so what? Cut it off, restore, start over.
Right.
They try to destroy your backup so you can't recover.
Okay.
Without their encryption key that they want their Bitcoin payment. Okay. And so they hold you ransom, they take your data. And even regardless, if they ransom you, they're likely to take your data. Personal information, health information, all that stuff has a value on the internet, in the dark web. They will sell it.
Yeah. So how do businesses protect themselves?
It's like an onion. There's layers. That firewalls, user education is a huge thing. That's a lot of the technology out there is getting better and better at watching for protection. So keeping things up to date. So the latest and greatest exploits are known and protected against. But user awareness and email protection, where so many times you've gotten an email from Amazon about this purchase you made, but you didn't make it, and you click on it because you're intrigued of what are they talking about, and it wasn't Amazon, it was a virus that you just invited into your network.
Wow.
So it's just
so an email, if you get an email that's like as long as you don't click on a link, you're still okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just hover over any links, so because they often disguise and have an email address or such that looks close to what it really is, but an I and a 1 kind of look the same. We just kind of glance over them.
Yeah.
So looking carefully at the address URL of a link on there, and if you're not expecting a document from somebody and you get one from somebody you don't know, just delete it and move on. They should let you know if they were going to send something important.
What about, I don't know if this is cybersecurity, I guess it is. So there have been for a while now, people that will send a text message, like realtors get this a lot, I think, and say, hey, I'm in a meeting, would you go and buy some gift cards? I need them real quick for such and such. And it looks like it's coming from your broker or your manager or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But it's not.
No. And that happened to me right after I started in the franchise, that 3 years ago, that I got an email from the CEO of the franchisor that used to work in this area with IBM. So he's familiar. And we had talked that, because he's familiar with our area of Texas. And then I get this email that didn't come from his company email account. It was like, Brad, can you go buy me some gift cards? I'm like, that's weird. Why would you ask me? I don't really work for you. We have a business relationship, and I'm friendly, but
right.
Why would I be, and so I sent an email back and then blind copy him on the business email account and just kind of carried on the conversation a little bit. But it was phishing for wanting me to participate in I need to figure out how to capitalize on those cards.
Well, and I think part of the problem these days is we are so busy and we're doing so many things on so many devices and apps and all these
True.
that we don't take the few seconds to stop and say, wait a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Get you on a busy day, and I suspect something like that was happening when I worked for a previous company, and I'd worked all night. We're doing an implementation. And I'd been up all night, and I got this phone call that starting to ask questions like, "What? No, I'm not giving out that information over the phone. I'm not sure who you are that validate who you are that I would give out that." And
yeah.
But if they catch you off and you're busy, you get that email. It looks good. Click.
Yep. Yep. What about apps? I saw something on your website about keeping your apps up to date is important.
So the various stages of vulnerability, Microsoft every month puts out what we call Patch Tuesday. That there's always somebody
Oh my
discovering
goodness.
a new vulnerability with
Wow.
an application, an operating system that previously unknown. So first becomes a vulnerability, but then the next part is it becomes an exploit that somebody figures out. Here's how I can use that vulnerability to take control of your computer, expose you to some application, their malware, ransomware package that they want to deliver. So yeah, keeping up to date and monitoring your system.
So are apps on your phone, can they take over your phone?
Yeah, if they get if they get the right vulnerability and package in there, keeping all of your applications on your phone, on your tablets, as up to date as possible.
And so there's a setting you can have them automatically update, right?
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah. And that's highly recommended to just keep them up to date. I've been in some corporate environments that may have some legacy application that we can't update this piece because of this application, and we need the developers to work on that. So it's small business. I don't see that as much because most small business just use off the shelf stuff that is maintained by the bigger companies that Adobe, Microsoft, etc. that puts out their patches and updates. Right.
So as far as like you talked about the ransomware and that they can like lock your computer and you don't have access to data and they destroy your backups, are there ways to back up your system that they can't get to, like in the cloud or something?
Yeah. So we recommend multiple backups, and an immutable backup would be one that they can't get to, they can't destroy. Our vendor, we have to give them the secret handshake of yes, it's okay to destroy that backup, that you just can't programmatically go and wipe it out through the system. It takes extra work from a known source.
Oh, nice.
And having it offsite, and especially in our Gulf Coast, that offsite just
that
we
too,
generally know a
weather,
hurricane's
right?
coming, but but just a couple of weeks ago with that tornado that hit LaPorte and Pasadena area. Had that been somebody's computer, I don't know who all was impacted by how much, but it was, if your computer got blown away.
Well, one of my friends has a real estate office that the tornado tore half their building off. Whoa.
So if their computer was sitting in the corner of that
gone,
just blew down the street, then
wow, that's scary. Okay, how about safe online shopping? I know, I was going to say businesses don't do a lot of that, but I bet they actually do.
I use Amazon quite a bit for my business.
Don't we all?
So protecting your credit card information. I don't recommend using browser to store sensitive data because it's not all that protected in the browser.
Do you recommend a particular browser?
No, not really. It's because Edge has even moved to the same kind of platform as Google, as Chrome.
Okay.
They Internet Explorer of days of old is not recommended. It shouldn't be used as
Right.
much as possible. But
Right.
Brave, Chrome, Edge,
Firefox.
Firefox. Yeah.
That's what I use.
So,
And Brave. Sometimes I use Brave. Mm-hmm. So you have this lovely brochure, which I'm sure people could ask you for.
I'd be happy to send it out to anybody that's interested.
Yeah, this is great. 15 ways to protect your business from a cyber attack. Did you know 1 in 5 small businesses will suffer a cyber breach this year? 81% of all breaches happen to small and medium-sized businesses. 97% of breaches could have been prevented with today's technology. That's wow,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's, the days of security through obscurity, as we used to say, is gone. They scan the internet now and look for holes in the internet and seek out your company. Domains are easy to discover and understand who they are, and breaks down to the corporate environment that owns it and go after them.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say you go into a smaller, medium-sized business, as you described is the sweet spot for you. What is your process? Do you like sit down with them and review what they've got going on and then make recommendations? Right. Okay.
Yeah, the first thing we want to do is an assessment to see where you're at, where the security is. There's a lot of simple things to do that aren't costly, and then there's some other things if you want to get more advanced that cost more.
Yeah.
And most small businesses don't have this unlimited cash flow to go, yeah, let me just do it all right now.
Right.
So generally we come up with a plan to prioritize and plan out. Here's where to go next, and let's do these simple low-hanging fruit, as they say.
Right.
Because like patching and update, those are easy.
Yeah.
Going on some email security, that's doesn't cost a lot for that.
Okay.
Backups, business continuity, and think of it in terms of business continuity planning, not just a data thing, but it's really impacts the business, and that's what you're out to protect, is the business.
Yeah.
Most businesses rely on computers. I mean, even your air conditioner repair guy probably is going to log his call in a computer to do the billing and accounting stuff. So
yeah, and I think we don't realize our reliance on technology until the power goes out for an hour and we're like, I don't know what to
do. Or your internet goes down for some reason. And
right.
Oh, well, I can't get to this.
Yeah. You don't realize how often you reach for that until you can't reach for it. It's like, wow, imagine if, as you said, someone shut down our data and we couldn't reach for it. How much downtime would it take to really just destroy your business, right?
Right.
Yeah.
They throw out numbers of how much it costs per day. And I think I hate using those generic kind of numbers, because businesses of 5 computers versus 100 computers would be so different. So
yeah. How important is employee education in cybersecurity?
That's the most important thing, is education, awareness. Government agencies have annual training. A lot of big corporations have annual training requirements. Small businesses should look at the same. We do what we call phishing expedition, so we can do a test phishing to see if they'll click on the link and fall for it looks good. It looks like it was from FedEx, but it wasn't. And they get
that's
notified.
what, when you were sharing when you first joined the franchise and that, I thought, are they just testing you?
and they may have been, because I mean, how'd they know already that I hadn't been out there that long? And it may have been them testing me. They didn't acknowledge or
right.
So, but it could have been just to see if I'd fall for it.
Sure. Wow. So what else is important for our listeners to know about cybersecurity?
Multi-factor authentication. It's just,
what is that?
So instead of just having your password, which should be secure. Don't make it, your birth date or
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, one of the popular ones was just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And
Mm-hmm.
no, don't do that. Just
Mm-hmm.
it's I recommend having a password manager. They can generate a complex password and store it for you and
So
secure it.
what is a password manager?
So I use LastPass.
Okay.
We it even though it has had an issue of its own, there's the password vault is encrypted with your secret password, your master password.
Okay.
So they don't believe any client's passwords have been exposed.
Okay.
But
Okay.
but
So that's
it lets me generate
LAST.
long passwords that are ugly that I
Yeah.
would never remember and unique to each site that I go to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
your bank doesn't have the same password as your Yahoo email, for instance. It's
Right.
that would be more susceptible that, and then having the multi-factor so that it sends you a text, or there's authenticator applications that you may see. Some of them have like a little QR code that'll pop up and log in to register your account with an authenticator app. So it generates a unique number every 30 seconds. And so you have to match that up with that. So which makes the phone that much more valuable to have with you, or not to lose your phone, because that's a lot of pathways to the authentication, as it sends me a text message, or I synchronize that number with the app on the phone.
Yeah, I was just reading something the other day about I think they called it shoulder surfing, where you're out at an event and you put your password in and somebody's watching and then they steal your phone and you are screwed.
Yeah. Yeah. So one good thing about the facial recognition is like you'd have to duplicate this. And nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that.
Okay, so that was LastPass is LASTPASS.
LASS.
LASS?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, LASSPASS. Is that right?
I get it right.
Well, let's just verify that.
No, it is LAST. Yeah.
LAST. Yeah. LASTPASS. As in the last place you need to put your passwords.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that kind of brought up for me the using the same password for multiple things, right? That's fairly common that people do.
It wasn't so bad before, but I guarantee you almost everyone has some password that's been hacked out into the dark web.
Yeah.
And so changing your password and and we do that too. We run scans or run reports on ones that we know have been exposed on the dark web for company wide, or just run your company. And if you got a personal one you want me to run, I can run that too. And
oh wow,
there was a lot of people. I think 2017 LinkedIn got hacked, so pretty much everybody that had a LinkedIn account 6 years ago had that password exposed. So if that password was the same one you used for everything else and you haven't changed it, then that's a vulnerability.
What is your opinion of, when you type in your username and password on a website and it little pops up and says, would you like to save this password?
So that's where like LastPass will take over that.
Okay.
So for the browser, I say, no, don't.
Okay.
But for LastPass, if it doesn't know it, then if there's an extension that goes into the browser that does that feature.
Oh, I see.
And it works across devices. So you can have the account on your phone, your tablet, your Windows browser, your Mac browser, whatever client you're using.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like it's really, really important.
Yeah, more and more, because it just password encryptions, doesn't take all that much to hack a guessable password.
Yeah.
Ones that are plain text, as far as your dog's name and 25 or something, wouldn't take that long for the encryption programs to work on that.
Yeah.
When you make it longer and special characters and uppercase and lowercase and numbers, that makes the complexity a lot harder.
What is the risk of like all the games people play on their phones or their work computers, or AI now, it's Chat GPT or whatever? Is that adding a whole nother layer of risk?
It's going to be interesting to see where that all goes. I think there is some risk because of the information that it can research.
Right.
So if it helps figure out what your dog's name is because it went and looked at your Facebook page, or that kind of stuff, it's kind of concerning. AI is cool. It can do nice things for us, and I used it to try to do some documentation. I asked it to create a step-by-step procedure for one of the applications we use, and to see how well it did. And it wasn't all that close. It was, but one of my
it'll get better though, right?
Yeah.
And
one of my friends used it for an old phone system or something that he was working with, and he said it did pretty good. They didn't have the manuals, and that was able to come back with good documentation. So
well, and I'm thinking also of like the emails that are obviously spam. Hello, dear. You are the beneficiary. But as these things get better and recognize what people think is a real person, that they is not a scammer, then that could be even more challenging to catch that, right?
Instead of the prince from some African country that you've likely not heard of, that needs help getting their money moved to the United States.
Yes.
Now it's that your cousin is in a bind and he's going to go to jail if they don't get $1,000. Could you help them out? And you love your cousin, so of course you want to try to help them. And
exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so if our listeners would like to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
You can go to CMITsolutions.com/clear-lake.
Okay.
Each of us franchises have our own little sub page off the main site, or you can go in and type in your zip code, and those of us in the Clear Lake area would all come up first.
Okay.
I can be reached at 832-932-0036 or bbricker@cmitsolutions.com.
All right.
Or on Facebook or on LinkedIn.
And I do really encourage people to go to the CMITsolutions.com website and check out various blogs, webinars, etc., because it really is a lot of great information.
I think we have some great vendors that help us supply us, like the webinars. They usually are the main speakers at our webinars to tell us about their products that we use to do security and storage and business continuity type things.
Yeah. And a lot of times you don't know what you don't know. So if you go on there and you start looking through and you're like, oh, wow, I never even heard of that before, right? That might be an important thing to listen to.
Run across something
right where your vulnerability is.
I never thought of that.
Exactly. Well, that was my experience. That's exactly.
The bad guys are out there thinking about it.
Exactly. So we definitely need people like you to like inform us and say, okay, here's how you protect yourself and your business.
So that is our goal, is to be of service and of value, even if you don't use our services, but educate. And I think an educated clientele is better. So I'm encourage everybody to get educated in whatever means you need. That we'll try to help that effort and that journey.
The more we rely on technology, the more we need to do it in a safe and effective way.
Very well said.
Thank you. Well, Brad, thank you so much for being on Networking Done Different.
All right. Thank you, Sarah.
All right.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks, friends, for joining. And if you have any questions or would like to be interviewed, please email me at networkingdonedifferent@gmail.com. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye.